Hi, this is Dan and Lexi from Dan Schultz Outdoors, reminding you, keep the adventures alive. Hey y'all, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Colleen. And we're the Keel Quest. And we want you to keep the adventures alive. Cheers!
Hey, this is Darren from Ride Paddle Repeat, encouraging you to keep the adventures alive.
This is David from Beachley Ironworks saying keep the adventures alive.
Hey, Kevin with an A here. Keep the adventure alive.
Hi, I'm Dan Mayotte. Keep the adventures alive.
Hi, I'm Kevin Collin, the Happy Camper. Remember, keep the adventures alive. Awesome!
Woo, buddy! Shug here! Keep the adventures alive. I am.
Ethan here, the Avid Outdoorsy guy, reminding you to keep the adventures alive.
We're John and Aaron.
Keep the adventures alive.
Hey everyone, it's Kylan from Canoe the North, and I encourage you to keep the adventures alive.
This is Sky North telling you, keep the adventures alive. And now on with the show.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday evening and welcome to another episode of CanoeHound's Outdoor Adventure Show, a show that brings you a lot closer to the great outdoors. My name is Dennis, also known as CanoeHound, and just welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, we are live here every Tuesday evening, so I urge you to try and keep your Tuesday evenings free to join us. We always have some great topics and guests on the show to bring you some happiness and joy about the outdoors and maybe get you a little education on what's going on out there as well. Let's see here. Before we get started with tonight's show, bit of a serious thing. I'm wearing orange tonight, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize the horrible news that we just heard in the news. It's all over the news right now about the 215 remains of children that they found from quite a while ago, but that they found at the Kamloops Indian Residential School in Kamloops, British Columbia. I just thought out of respect for what has happened down there, that we would take a moment to just reflect, and then we will get on with the show. Remember, everybody, every child matters. Every person matters. So let's maybe say a prayer for whatever's going on there. Like I say, it's something that happened many, many years ago, but it is a horrible thing nevertheless. So yeah. Anyways, let's start out tonight's show. Let's get into a bit of news and channel updates as to what's going on. First off, it feels good to be back. Last weekend, I didn't have a show. It's not too often that I miss a week. It was one of those things where I didn't really have a show lined up. and I didn't have a guest at the time. And I figured, you know what, I needed to take a little bit of a break and just focus on things going on around here a bit. And now I've come back and I'm ready to rock. And we're just on the edge of finishing out season 2, which will end at the end of June here. I keep saying January. I even said it in the green room to our tonight's guest. So, but anyways, yeah, end of June will be the end of season 2, where we'll take a break, and then we'll be kicking things back off again in September. And we got a couple of great shows lined up here in June. Just to give you an idea of what we've got going on. Obviously tonight, you know why you're here. We're going to be talking with a couple of great couples, talking about relationships and couples in the backcountry. I've been putting a bit of focus on sort of the family aspect of late on the last couple of episodes with the backcountry, and why it's so important to spend time with the family in the backcountry. Next week, for those of you that might be interested, we are going to be doing a show on the meanest link. We've already got Chris and Julia Prose, who just sort of broke a record at doing the meanest link this past last summer. Kevin Callan, who's written a book about it called Once Around Algonquin. And then, of course, one of the co-founders of the meanest link, Gord Baker, who is with Algonquin Outfitters. So I urge you that next week, if that's something that's of interest, or if you know somebody that's been thinking about doing the meanest link, make sure you tune in, because we're going to get all kinds of information that might really help with the trip, as well as, maybe some great stories, because these people have done it and they know what they're talking about. So that's a good thing. The following week after that, mark your calendars. We're going to have Karina Alexis from Alexis Outdoors, and one of a new partnership that she's got going with another channel called Timbermates. They will be our guest on, I believe it's the 15th of June. And then the week after that, for anybody that's looking to learn some compass skills, we're going to be talking with a couple of individuals, and we're going to be getting all kinds of tips and tricks on how to properly use a compass. A lot of people look at the thing and they see north, west, southeast on there, but they don't quite know how to work a compass properly. And I'm hoping that we can maybe put to rest a few of the myths, or get you a little more educated on how to use a compass and map in the backcountry. So, and then of course our last week of the season there, we will be doing kind of a reunion show. We'll be bringing back a bunch of past guests, and we'll be talking about all kinds of neat things and just getting some updates on channels and what everybody's plans are for the season. So once we get our freedom, we can get out there paddling. It's going to be a fun time, right? Just want to send out a huge congratulations to a couple of my channel moderators. I got some really cool news this week. I knew of the engagement, but Dan Mill out of the YouTube channel Seasons of Serenity and his significant other Karen were married this past week. So congratulations to you guys. I wish you many blessed years of love and memories, hopefully outdoor memories. A few membership shout outs. I know I'm babbling on here, but I got a few things I got to get through here. I'd like to just mention my newest channel members. We've got Conjuring Rock and Michaela Ferguson, and of course our solo trip channel members, Stein North, Kevin with an A, Jeremy Wallace, Smoking Our Barbecue, Pam Bookham, and Michaela Ferguson, who is actually a solo member. If anybody's interested in becoming a member and you're on YouTube, right around there, you'll see a join button. Feel free to click that at any time. We've got 3 different packages available. They come with all types of added perks and benefits for the channel. All the information is down there. You can do it at any time, but if you're interested in supporting Canoe Hound Adventures, by all means, please do so. Let's see here. A couple more things. Special thanks to my channel sponsors as well. These are the people that keep me, well caffeinated. We've got the Backcountry Coffee Company. I always start the show with a nice cup of their fresh roast. This is the Alpine roast. Thank you very much to Kyle over there. We've got Kid Products, makers of the Kid Twig Stove and Reflector Oven. Great Signs and Graphics, our friends over at Algonquin Outfitters, Short Hills Beard Company, and of course, Ursac USA. Thank you very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. And two more things. If you have any hot topics or guests that you would like to see on the show, all you need to do is drop me an email at canoehound@gmail.com, and I will do my darndest to make it happen. If not this season, because we're booked, but you know what? I'm already looking for ideas for the next season, season 3. Yes, I will be back for season 3. And last but not least, if you have any questions for tonight's guests, all you need to do is put the word question over there in the chat, follow it up with your question. It makes it easier for me to recognize. I am a one-man show, so sometimes the questions will get by me. Feel free to post it again, or better yet, after the swag giveaway at 8 o'clock tonight, you can join us right here on panel, ask your question in person, maybe add a comment or two, and get to know some of the people around here. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into what the purpose that we're actually all here for. We've got tonight two guests, or two couples that I've been following their YouTube channels of late. I like a lot of the smaller YouTube channels. I love the content that they produce. And these two channel creators, they're up and coming. They're into doing some great adventures. Their editing skills are, improving. I can see that steadily throughout their videos, and it's just great content to watch. It's all about the stuff that we like to watch and do. Fishing, canoeing, backcountry camping. This is the thing that makes our hearts warm, and it seems to make their hearts warm as well. First couple that we'll be bringing up here on panel is from the YouTube channel Teunis Richards, Freak of Nature. Please welcome Brittany and Tuenis. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, how are awesome, you?
Yeah, doing okay. Look at you guys. You are all close and cuddly, and
yeah,
we don't go out much, so this was a big deal tonight.
This was a big event.
Brittany, nobody's going out much these days.
No.
Okay, another channel that I've been following quite a bit of late. There, they got some really cool canoe trips under their belt. One of my favorites that I've watched probably a couple of times. So, they're getting a couple clicks off me on this particular one is their trip on the Brent Run. We'll probably talk a little bit about that tonight. Welcome to the live stream from Canoe the North, Keenan and Ashley. How you doing, guys?
Hey, guys. How are you?
This is going to be a party. Hopefully you all have your cocktails tonight.
Yeah.
Let's Keenan and Ashley, let's start with you guys. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm a lineman.
And I'm a registered nurse. I work in mental health.
And we love canoe tripping. We basically take off it was going to be April this year, and we take off months at a time, and we just spend months in the bush and go tripping. And we just started up our YouTube channel last year. So after a few years of kind of thinking about making videos and how the whole thing works and watching everyone else's content, we thought, why not try it ourselves and share some of the stuff that we do? So It's been quite a learning curve. Like the whole process is it's different. It's very different.
Yeah.
And you're doing well. You're really regimented. Like you have frequent uploads, so that's a good thing. You're keeping your viewers engaged.
We're trying.
Yeah, just like everyone else out there trying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Teunis and Brittany, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
You can go first, love.
Well, we're both paramedics. I've been for a few years. Teunis a little longer than me.
Yeah.
We work for the same service, which is pretty fun. Sometimes we actually get to work together.
Oh yeah.
We see each other enough.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. Is there such a thing as like a lead paramedic? Like, do you guys have a lead?
Kind of, sort of. Like we have a paramedic that's more skilled, I guess you could say. It has more like you.
You say lead or leave? Like a lead, yeah, like a
leader.
Yeah, leader form. Oh yeah, so I'm an advanced care paramedic, so technically I'm like the one that takes care of the scene on the highest medical authority. Gotcha. But realistically, all the skill levels are the same, like the same assessments, the same everything. I just have a little bit more like.
He's the medicine man.
Yeah,
he's got the good stuff.
Very cool. If you break your leg, you want an ACP because I can give you some
really good therapeutic communication.
Yeah. She's a good player.
but it wasn't too long ago. Now, Teunis was on the show here, about a month and a half ago or maybe 2 months ago on our Axe show, right?
February, wasn't it?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it was when we had Rooster on from.
I actually think it was early March, but yeah. So
And Teunis had a bit of a mishap in the bush where good thing Brittany was there because she kind of saved your bacon, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so I got a felling accident to my foot. So we were working on a bush lot, a close friend's property of ours, and we were debating filming a video or not, but we were going to spend the night out in the woods at the cabin, and we were just clearing some dead oaks that were in his lot. And it was just the last tree of the day, tired, hungry, everything else, and I glanced off a tree and into my foot. So, yeah, it was quite the adventure looking down. And at first, like, I didn't even feel it, and I knew because I didn't feel it was going to be bad, but I didn't want to believe that. But then I looked down, and it's just spitting out of the boot, and I'm like, oh. So we took the boot off. It was arterial. Britt saved the day. We had to wobble out of the woods.
Carried him over my shoulder.
Yeah.
You backpacked him out.
Hobbed his way. I watched him.
Yeah. So it was it was a good 5-click walk or whatever. Like, I don't know, 5 kilometer distance out of the woods.
Yeah,
I can't talk.
Not a walk.
Sorry. But yeah, and then we met up with our coworkers. They drove us to Ottawa, or me to Ottawa. And everything's good so far. I'm missing one artery in my foot, but in terms of the functionality of it, it's pretty much 100%. So
yeah, awesome.
I got lucky. Yeah.
Back to playing soccer again, are you?
Soccer players, don't worry about it yet.
Pine cone soccer, that is. Yeah. I too bad I didn't still have the picture in the in my my photo library here because I could have grossed everybody right out. But
I'll do a video on it in the future, just recap and everything on.
Yeah. So, Keenan, Ashley, why do you guys do this? What motivates you to do this? Was one of you maybe into it and got the other person into it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I tend to be kind of like a fairly all or nothing person, and so So I really like camping, and I don't. Really, I like people, but I don't really like to be around people sometimes. So that's kind of what got us into the whole canoe tripping thing, was just the ability to kind of disappear and go where we were into hiking and stuff. We really liked hiking and then backpacking, and then that kind of led into canoe tripping.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I think the canoe tripping started because our dog, he's a Newfie, so he's big. And the backpacking it was a bit hard on him, a bit hard on his body. So Keenan was like, why don't we put him in a canoe? So yeah.
How long did you guys start tripping?
So was 2017?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Like
so not that long.
That's the same for us too.
Oh, really?
It's not just the plaid shirt and jean jackets that are similar. We got lots of similarities.
I see a collaboration video in the future. So Ashley, what was the first trip that? Now I'm going to ask this funny, but what was the first trip that Keenan forced you into? Or did he have to force you, or were you like all game?
No, pretty much. He pretty much did force me. Like, you mean like the first backcountry trip? Or the first
backcountry canoe trip.
Well, we did a couple of really small canoe trips. One to Algonquin and one to Killarney.
Yeah.
And they were just like 2-nighters. And that was really just to kind of get a little bit of experience. But the first real canoe trip was the Yukon River. We did Whitehorse to Dawson City.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. So we just jumped right in.
Can you tell us a little bit about that trip?
Yeah, well, you guys have done part of the Yukon as well, right?
Pretty much actually true, buddy. We went from Carmax to Dawson City, so
yeah, it's so we ended up, well, we were in the Yukon, I think it was the year before, backpacking, and some of our trips didn't go to plan, so we ended up having some extra time. So we did a little, I think we went from Whitehorse just to the edge of Lake Labarge, which is kind of like the first section of the trip for people that don't know.
Yep.
that was my first real experience in a canoe, not just floating around on a little pond or something in the backyard. And I was just, that was it for me. That was perfect. That's all I wanted to do. So
Changed your life, eh?
yeah, like truly, yeah, honestly. I mean, it, like literally just everything about it I loved. There was nothing about it that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So we came home, we researched everything, we bought a canoe, we did our couple little prep trips in Algonquin and Killarney, thinking that we knew everything and could do everything, right?
I didn't think that.
I did. We packed our truck up and we set off for I think we were gone for 2 or 3 months that summer out in the Yukon and Alaska. That was kind of the first chunk of our trip, I guess.
What year was that?
I think that was
2017.
I think that was 2017.
Okay. So we were 2018 and we pretty much did the exact same thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So the whole experience for anyone that's never even just driven across Canada, like, I mean, the whole country is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, there's I mean, people maybe some people kind of badmouth Manitoba and Saskatchewan. We didn't find that at all.
Oh,
we loved all of it. We loved all of it. We went down to Grasslands National Park, and if you've never been there, I'd really recommend it. It was just really, really stunning.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a different country. Every province you like everything changes, and it's like you're in a whole new world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have done one of my bucket list trips.
You have to do it.
You have to.
Yeah. You can't not do it.
I'll give you my wife's number and you can call her and text her. Dennis is really got to do this trip.
Me is saving a little slush fund too on the side. It ain't cheap.
No.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So how about you, Teunis and Brittany? The same type of question. Have you both been outdoorsy people throughout the whole get-go? Or?
Well, Britt's born and raised in Timmins, so you can literally, the house that her parents still live in is where she was raised, and you can literally leave that front step, cross the road, and you're on Crown land. Like, it's
nice.
Yeah.
So she's always been snowshoeing, having
camping, all that stuff.
bush days with her dad and all that kind of stuff. My dad was a major outdoorsman. He was also military. So I've lived across Canada my entire life. So like what you were just saying, like I've heard people everywhere I go, people are always trying to leave Canada and go explore the world. And I'm like, explore Canada, because you're going to be, like it's not like your little town that you live in. It's not like that at all. So I was born in Nanaimo, BC. I've lived in Alberta, Manitoba, all over Ontario, Halifax. Like I've been everywhere, right? And every place you go, it just like landscape changes, the atmosphere changes. Yeah. So it's pretty so
we've always done things outside. We've always been kind of very outdoorsy, but we've never actually canoe tripped.
Sorry, so I kind of forgot that question. My bad.
So come on, man, stay on the line.
Yeah, I'm trying. That's why she's here. So so canoeing, no. So I grew up hunting and fishing my entire life, from birds, waterfowl, deer, all that kind of stuff. No, but that's like where we're talking about our background. Yeah. And then canoeing wise, it was just like little outings on my grandparents' pond with their old fiberglass holy boat. Like it'd take on water, and here I am bailing at 10 years old and just going around in circles, but loving every minute of it. But that's the only thing I've ever experienced with canoes. And then Britt, you didn't really do anything?
No, nothing really canoe wise. I don't even remember the moment where we were like, oh, let's do canoeing.
Yeah,
like,
so we were early on dating, and we both just said, hey, like it's about time that we do a canoe trip. Like I got her more into hunting and fishing and stuff, and I was like, well, we both always want to do this, so why don't we try it? And then the very first trip I planned was at Woodland Caribou. Keeping
in mind, we live right beside Algonquin Park.
Yeah, like
20 minutes from our doorstep is Algonquin Park, but we went 22 hours in the other direction.
Yeah. So for me, it was because I grew up in this area before. I thought Algonquin Park was like an amusement park. Like I thought it would be super busy. I thought it would be like, kind of like
car camping.
Like I didn't think it was going to give me, because I like the deepest, darkest holes. Like I like to go, and where people don't want to go, I want to try to go see what it looks like and all that kind of stuff. So I just looked at a map and I was like, that seems cool. Like, I lived in Manitoba. I love that area, so why not? And then drove up and no worry in the world, nothing. Just like, yeah, it's going to go good. And I remember going to the Outfitters, and we met Harlan Schwartz, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah, kind of a legend up there. I don't think he's doing it anymore, is he?
Not there anymore, no.
No, he doesn't anymore. But anyway, so we met Harlan, and I was kind of in contact with him in early 2017 to kind of just figure out a trip for us. And I guess he thought we had a prior experience by the way we were talking and all that stuff. And then we got there, and we're going over the maps and stuff. And he's like, so, like, where do you guys usually trip? And I'm like, this is the first one. And he's like, yeah. And he just, like, again, I had no worry in the world. And then he just looked at me, and he's like, whoa, baptism by fire. And I was just like,
are we getting ahead of
yeah, so it was in that moment that I was like, did I mess up? And like I started to get really worried because I was like, what am I putting my girlfriend and our dog through? Which also, we never tried Bubba in a canoe. I was just like, she's a dog.
Yeah.
Like, she'll do good. Yeah.
Can she swim? I don't know.
Yeah. And sure enough, so that worry carried on all the way. We went on the logging road to Liano Lake. And for that, whatever, hour and a half drive, like, going through my head, like, what did I do? What did I get ourselves into? But then as soon as we got to the lake, put in, it all left, and it was just experience.
It was the best.
Yeah, experience of a lifetime for sure. So we did about 100 clicks. It was just a nice little loop. We learned also what kind of trippers we were. So we're both from athletic backgrounds. We learned out that we don't like racing style trips where you're just trying to cover distance. I like to fish, so I like my, you putt around, you stay on the lake for an extra day, you jump to one, maybe two lakes, and, take your time. So a lot of lessons learned, but yeah, that was the first one, was 7 days or 6 days in Woodland Caribou.
And kind of like you guys completely changed your lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
we are now paddlers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that was another thing. We thought we were going to be hikers, but nope, paddling.
Yeah, you find your true passion, right?
Yeah.
Try a few things out, and then you gravitate towards what you're after. Actually, I mentioned earlier that I've watched your Brent run a couple times.
Yeah.
And when you guys were up around Cedar Lake, there was a scene there where you had a bit of a meltdown, or Keenan at least expressed that you had a bit of a meltdown. What was that? What was that related to?
Oh, me? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was that when I fell?
I think you did.
Yeah, we were on quite a long portage, and it'd been a really long day, and the barrel I was carrying was really heavy, and I just fell on the portage.
Right.
But there were no obstacles. Like, it was the widest piece of trail, like no incline. I don't know. I just fell. And I was just tired and
grumpy.
I was grumpy. Yeah. Angry.
Sorry, I didn't mean, like, I wasn't trying to center you out on something like that, because it's kind of a segue. So as a couple, how do you deal with these emotional moments while you're back there on a trip like this? Like, for some people, even for me, I sometimes I get on a portage, it's like, oh my God, I feel like crying. You know what I mean? But like, how do you deal with the emotional aspect as a couple in the backcountry when it comes to situations like that, where, you're exhausted and you don't want to go on?
I think we kind of take turns, supporting each other and pumping each other up, because I think generally there'll be a moment when one person is struggling a little bit more. So you just instantly recognize that, and then the other person kind of steps in and tries to be more positive and more supportive, because I think probably most people can relate. Everyone has those moments. So you just have to kind of take turns, really. Yeah.
You have to know your partner well.
That's right. And then if you both have a meltdown at the same time.
Well, it's like when somebody's crying, you don't seem to cry yourself, right?
Yeah, like you wanna kind of help them.
Yeah. And that's that happens quite a bit on our trips too.
Because in that video, I really enjoyed that you left that scene in. A lot of people might say, you know, no, cut it out. I don't want to see. It really conveyed something, and that I mentioned earlier the reason why I wanted to have couples on the show, but one of the reasons why I wanted to have you two on the show was because of that moment. It really said something about a relationship in the backcountry and how you come to rely on, obviously, your significant other to, you know, to be there for you when things are tough or when you're having a meltdown or something, right? Because what we do out there in the backcountry, it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not a cakewalk. We're roughing it, right? And it's nice to have that support of your significant other. That's a great thing. So besides that, what's probably the toughest moment you've ever had on a trip as a couple?
Well, we've had I would say as a couple, that's a tough question. What would you say, Ashley?
There doesn't have to be any.
I can think of like a couple of just scary moments.
Yeah.
Like we've definitely had some scary moments where we've like actually been quite worried.
We got kind of stuck in a forest fire once in Quantico.
Ooh,
yeah, which was pretty scary. We were on our way out, and we could see fire, you could see smoke, but it didn't seem too bad.
And we couldn't quite tell where it was either. Like it was kind of deceiving.
Yeah. And anyways, on one of the portages we were on, we came across the fire. The fire was across the portage trail, so we backpacked, and it was late in the day, right? So we kind of found the next spot to camp, and we set up our tent. And that night, a huge windstorm and thunderstorm rolled through with almost no rain, and that fire went from probably a few acres to like hundreds of acres over like a few fingers.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is wild.
It's a little bit of
yeah. So the next morning we woke up and you could hardly see anything with the smoke, and we were on our inReach with our parents trying to kind of figure out what the best way out of the park was. But obviously your parents are worried for you too, right?
Yeah.
And we got on the water. You had a pretty good meltdown out there.
It's okay. It's okay.
I honestly think it's not a long enough trip unless you have one good cry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I know I've really worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ashley's up. We were both worried, but
it was scary. I think it was probably the only time when we thought we might actually have to press the SOS button on the inReach, because we just weren't sure where the fire was, and we knew we had a long way to go, and we were kind of taking guesses at which route to take, and we were just really hoping that route would be clear.
Well, just being enclosed too in the smoke would be really eerie, right? Like that in itself.
It was.
And even navigating, like we didn't have at that time we didn't have a GPS. We didn't have any. I guess you could use the inReach, but we were worried about battery life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so even navigating, like when you can only see
10 yards, yeah.
Yeah, like it's your map and compass when you're shooting across to an island or something, like you can't see anything, right?
Yeah. That's wild.
And
that's great. Now, was that the year that we had all the forest fires, like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was.
It was.
I think that was. Yeah.
It was, because I think we were going to go to Woodland Caribou, right? And we'd called them to ask what the forest fire situation was, and they said it was really bad. So we decided to go to Quantico instead, and we called them to ask, and they said there is some forest fire, but it was quite isolated at the time. It was very small, and then of course when we were in there, that's essentially what happened. It just grew really quickly.
So
did you know that you were paddling into a forest fire at this point up in Quantico?
No,
we didn't.
No, and like they had even for people that haven't been to Quantico, it's not like a park like Algonquin where you have to give, you book specific sites. At Quantico, you basically just go into the park and you're in there. You give the park attendant
give them a rough
an
itinerary.
idea of your plan, but you're free to change that. So they were actually flying over looking for paddlers.
Yeah, we could hear them. We could hear them flying over, but like they wouldn't be able to see us.
Wow.
Yeah, but we really had no idea what we were paddling into.
That's right. And we found out afterwards that the portage where we came like face to face with the fire, they had actually closed the other end of that portage like that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they knew that the fire was there. I guess they'd kind of flown into that lake, and I don't know how they do that, how they close it off. But yeah.
Definitely scary, but makes for a good story afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's what I say, the worst trips make the best stories. We all remember them, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty character building, though. I would say, and I think those types of moments are good for you. I think they're good for your relationship too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you learn a lot about each other, right? When you're in when you have just the bare essentials. So
yeah. So I'm going to ask Teunis and Brittany the same question.
What was the question again?
I don't remember you. No. About when you're in the backcountry, like have you ever run into any situation in this case that is a little more serious? And we'll leave the foot out of this.
Right? Not to that extreme.
Yeah, like we've had injuries. Like I'm pretty clumsy, as you can tell.
Very.
On the Woodland Caribou trip, Britt stressed a tendon and got tendonitis in one of her wrists because we were pushing too hard. Because again, first trip, we were doing 25, 30 clicks a day because we didn't know what we were supposed to do, right? Like our idea was, he set this goal for us. We got to like make it or whatever, right? When in reality, right, you can do whatever you want. So we're like, we got to make it to this lake so we can, be halfway or whatever. And obviously it pushed.
I had a GoPro mount and I remember strapping it around my wrist, and that was what was like keeping my wrist.
Yeah, splinting.
What I could.
And there's this noise called crepitus, which is usually when broken bones break. You'll hear it creaking past each other. You could hear that in her wrist. It was really weird. But obviously, there was no trauma.
I couldn't think of any moment where it actually broken my wrist.
Yeah, we both didn't suspect a break, but we're like, that's creaking. Like it was literally like, and it's like, that's weird. And then the wrist was really big, and it was like, well, we obviously got to cut it short. So we actually had to turn away a couple clicks of the actual goal to try to shave off whatever 10, 15 kilometers to, not be stupid and make it back so she can get attention and all that stuff. So,
I don't think there's any no scary moments
besides the axe in the foot.
I guess that one, but we went over that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a question here from somebody that's in the chat where, hopefully it didn't get away from me here. Just bear with me for a second. Here it is. Okay. From one of my channel members, Motion Bourgeois, is asking, how do you test the waters as someone who is new to dating? How do you get your new significant other, or hopefully your significant other, to join you on something like this, especially if they're not an outdoorsy person?
Just be forward and say what you want.
I was going to say lie, and it's all rainbows and butterflies.
Okay, well, there's two ways.
And then they can figure out the rest on their own.
I think it's tough, right? Because we started at the same time. Like, again, it's hard too because it's not like either one of us had any no outdoor experience. We both came from outdoor backgrounds. It's just canoeing was new to us. So I don't know.
Maybe Ashley could answer this.
What
convinced you to partake?
Yeah, I'd say start small. Ease them into it. Don't do what Keenan did to me.
So you're talking maybe little day trips,
But it worked apparently.
Yeah. So for example, for our first canoe trip was on Opeongo, and we literally hugged. It was like ice off, and we had a brand new. Well, actually, we rented a canoe at the time. We didn't even own a canoe. And we literally just hugged the shoreline for what felt like about 2 hours. It was probably about 20 minutes, and we found the first campsite on the west side of the lake, and we stayed there for 2 nights, I think.
2 nights. Yeah.
And we thought, oh, this is easy. Like, we got this
We're
down.
like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah. we thought we had it figured out, but I honestly think that's start real small. If there's somewhere if there's somewhere you're comfortable with, that's where I would take a significant other or a, not that I'm going to have a new girlfriend. If I do have a new girlfriend, that's what I would do. I would maybe scout it out yourself, or as I said, if there's somewhere you're familiar with, start small, and get the bigger sleeping mat too. Don't go with the 20-inch short mat on your first trip. Maybe go a little bit luxury.
Yeah, make them comfortable.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that. I think one of the biggest things, and I remember when my wife did her first canoe trip with me, is I did everything, and I mean everything within my power to make her as comfortable as possible, right? Including the cooking, the cleaning, the preparation, the packing, the plan, everything. I treated her like a queen out there, so that I can hope in hopes that she would really enjoy it, right? Because it's a true passion of mine. And that worked really well until we did a trip one year where we ran into some bad conditions. We had both our daughters with us, and we got stranded on an island overnight, and she hasn't been on a canoe trip with me since. It breaks my heart. But,
maybe your girls will pick up that slack one day.
Yeah.
My daughters love adventuring. They really do. Yeah. So
got some companions.
Yeah, by all means. So I have to ask, and I'm going to ask both of you this: why YouTubers? Why are you sharing your experiences with everybody over there in the chat? We'll start with Keenan and Ashley. We'll start with you guys.
I think probably for a handful of reasons. I think first and foremost, it's just to document all the trips for ourselves. We've been on so many like once in a lifetime trips for most people. I think we've been super fortunate, and it's kind of unfortunate for us that we didn't capture those on camera. So that's probably the first reason why we started documenting, because our family, they have no idea what any of these trips are really all about, right? My family's outdoorsy, but they're not canoe trippers. They're not spending weeks in the Yukon or even in Algonquin for that matter. And then we learned a lot from people on YouTube too, right? Like that's when you're not sure how to do something, or you'd go on YouTube and see what other people did. And I think that we've just from the stuff we've learned, I think it's worthwhile sharing to other people. If there's people out there that want to see what we do and how we do it, that's great. Yeah.
So I think it's a bit harder to get into if you didn't grow up doing it, or you don't have
for sure
friends that are into it. So we really appreciated things that we could find online. So it's definitely nice to kind of share that stuff with people.
Yeah. And I think it kind of grows on you. I think the more you do it, the more you kind of you want to do it, and you want to do a better job at it too, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. It's been interesting, but it's been very, very, very cool. Yeah, I'm glad we decided to start our channels.
Well, your channel's doing really good. It seems to be for having been in it for just over a year type of thing. Your growth is really good, because you're well over 1,000 subscribers now. Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I think if you keep doing what you're doing there, it can grow to as big as you want it to be. But just keep up the good work. That's
good things happen to good people.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Teunis and Britt, same thing with you guys. Why YouTube? What makes you want to share your adventures with everybody?
So I've had an interest in either photography or filmmaking for a long time, like even before me and Britt were together. So around 2015, I had an interest in just one or the other. Like Instagram was kind of new, YouTube was picking up. I remember watching Joe and some of the other OGs, and just like, that's kind of cool, And initially, I thought actually I was going to go a different route, like in terms of niche, because I was a car guy in my youth, like teenager and stuff. So I thought I wanted to do car related stuff. Yeah.
Welcome down to that.
Yeah. And then I ended up meeting a big YouTuber in that niche, and he was just kind of, it turned us off, and that's why I kind of didn't start for a while, was because he was kind of
It was just an arrogant community.
Yeah,
like we went to a few car shows, and everyone was just.
It's all ego measuring. It's like, how much money can you spend on your car? Your car's faster than this. It's all trash talking, right? To try to get the hype, to get the views and money, basically, right? And I'm not about that. So that got me down, and I was like, well, I don't really want to expose my girlfriend, or my wife now, but girlfriend at the time, to this, and I don't really feel like dealing with this kind of environment anyways. So put it off, and then we started filming like our own personal trips. Like I have Woodland Caribou filmed and enjoyed
Our
it.
cross-Canada trip is filmed, but like
it was more just for us, sort of like you said, you have it documented and all that stuff. And then I started seeing some of the bigger YouTubers that are now like huge, like Karina and Lost Lakes and stuff. And I remember that's when we were starting to get serious, and we made videos, but I didn't post them because I didn't think I was good enough. Like I thought, because we live,
who are we? We're nothing special.
Yeah,
we're just
and we're
two normal Joes.
Yeah, we're in Algonquin Park.
None of us are, right? When it comes
Yeah. But I thought that this niche or whatever was going to be the same as the last one. I thought it was going to be very judgmental and like, oh, like, who are you and all that stuff. And we didn't put it out there. And then I finally see how tight-knit this community is, and everyone supports each other and everything like that. And I was like, I want to be a part of that, especially with our jobs. It's hard. And like Keenan said, we don't really like people either. Like we do, but we don't. We're very personal. We like to talk to people and stuff. But when you deal with the stuff we deal with, and you see what people do to each other, you just come home and you're with your family and loved ones, and that's it. Like you don't want to go out, you don't want to do stuff, right? So yeah, I just need like an outlet, and I like the community that we're.
I think
now
that is
in.
number one. Is like we just want that community feeling, and everyone is amazing in this community. Like things like tonight, like we just want to do this. We want to talk to you guys. Like,
it's super cool. And like I said, if all we get from it is just like meeting people like you and having conversations, is great. Like this is fun for us, and the people we've met so far, we can't ask for more. Like again, I remember when Keenan and Ashley started watching our first videos about this time last year, and my face lit up. I was like, oh, yeah. Like someone who has three times the subscribers comment. I was like, that's cool.
That is a cool thing when somebody whose videos you watch and you really enjoy, when you find out that they started watching your videos and they're subscribed. It's kind of it's complimentary, right?
And it's motivational. So again, we're in healthcare.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm drinking too much. Anyways, so
boy.
You're dealing with people in their worst and stuff, right? I've already had people private message us and stuff who say like, I have MS. Thank you for taking the time to show X amount of detail with whatever, it's as if I was there, and it makes them feel good. So it's almost like
if that person was the only one to watch our video, happy.
And then like another one, like we have just close friends, their kids look up to us like we're movie stars.
We're
every Friday they're like, are they on? Like following us and stuff. And that itself, to inspire the next generation, and then like, learn how to treat a fish properly. And they're like, you know what, Dad, I'm good. Like that was fun. Let's go back to camp, and stuff. Like, it's just great. So and then like Keenan said, the more you do it, the more you love it. Like at first it's a lot of learning curve, right? You got to learn to talk to a camera and
it's awkward.
What are you filming? All that and editing's a whole nother friggin' like thing. But once you start doing it, it starts to become less and less work, and it's just more and more fun. It's like heavy workload up front, and it just gets better and better. So I don't know. What
became a hassle at first, carrying all our camera gear,
Yeah.
is now like just part of the routine.
Yeah.
We enjoy finding that shot. We take an extra moment to look at what's beautiful around us to see what we can capture for the video.
Yeah.
So it makes us appreciate everything, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or take the time to appreciate it.
And like I said, just the relationship building and all that stuff, it's more than you can ask for. If it leads to more, great. But just where it's going already, we love it. So
who's more avid when it comes to making sure you get the shot?
Yeah. Britt's very, very creative.
I'll watch the dog and he's off.
She's I don't know. You do a lot. She films a lot. She comes up with great ideas and stuff. But like when it comes to the learning and stuff, I'll take the credit.
Teunis will watch one YouTube video about filmmaking once, and then he has to repeat it to me 6 times until I get it. Which I know I'm like that.
But what was also a blessing and a curse was my axe injury. So I was off for 2 months, and I'm not a person that can sit around. Like, I don't like to waste time. It's you're doing something, you're learning something, whatever. And I took the time. I treated it like school. I woke up at 5 a.m. I'd sit in front of YouTube and learn YouTube. So, whatever, noon, 1 o'clock, and then take a break, watch and catch up. If you haven't noticed, like, I would spam every content creator's channel. So like, you were one of them. Like, I'd watch like 50 videos in a row, comment, get you, like, you know, help the algorithm, whatever. Right? And like every day was like a theme. So it was like Dennis one day, Casey another, Alexis, you know, smaller channels like Mad for Maple. I don't know, just like whoever was there. I was like, let's just go through this whole library and I just crush everything. And then, yeah, so, and
we don't have a TV. YouTube is our TV, so why not?
Same here. No cable TV.
Yeah, and
live stream everything.
Yeah, so I'd rather support normal people that are like us, right? Like, I'd rather donate my time a couple hours a day or whatever. You know, you put in the effort just like us, like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Keenan, actually, same thing with you guys. Who's more adamant when it comes to getting the shot?
I honestly think we're kind of split, aren't we? I would say on trips sometimes I get a little rammy. Like, I just kind of want to go. I like to keep moving, and you're more of a.
I like to go slow, and like before we started the channel, I really enjoyed taking photos. So that's something that I've really enjoyed about starting the YouTube channel, because it means that we can actually go slower.
We have
to go slower. So it's a lot nicer. You can really appreciate it. But I think we're both into getting the shots. Like Keenan does all the editing. But I think, in terms of the shots,
I'd say it's fairly equal now.
Both of us,
Yeah. Although sometimes maybe you're not in the best mood. I gotta point out. I mean, it's been a long day and you're tired.
I get that.
Both of you, like all of you, do you get that moment where you just go, you know what? I want to get the shot, but you know what? Look at that sunset. Like, just enjoy it.
Oh
yeah. Lots of those moments. And then I find too, right? It's also how much you eat and how much work you do throughout the day. You'll see like the effort kind of throughout, like a theme with our videos because they're day trips. You'll see like all kinds of close-ups and good stuff in the beginning, and then it just slowly kind of fades out because, like you said,
it's tough to
get tired. Yeah, it's a lot of work walking back to the camera.
And I don't know about you guys, but when the camera's out, and especially out in the canoe, tension levels are like,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Just like, what are you doing? You're keeping the canoe.
Yeah. There's usually never an issue, and but it's just like a cell phone, though, I find, because like if you compare us to 4 years ago at Woodland Caribou, like the camera never came out in the canoe, and now we're at the point where you have your setup and your whatever. It's like your phone where it's brand new. You want to treat it like a baby, and then 4 months later you're throwing it across the room.
Yeah.
So the novelty is not there, right? So I don't know. And it's just kind of what you have to do, right? You want the shot, you just gotta. It's part of the thing, right? So.
Well, that's pretty good if you could still maintain this whole thing where you can still find the shot, right? Because I find lately I went out to, and Keenan and Ashley, you know what? The first time I reached out to Ashley there, and you'll probably remember this, I said, you guys are up in my neck of the woods paddling, and I wish I knew because I would have joined you, right? And that's over here on the Welland River. Yes. You guys put in at the spot, the little park across from the airport where I put in quite often, paddle up to what's the creek called? Anyways, the little creek up there, and you guys went all the way up to the 2x4 restaurant and stuff like that. That's my neck of the woods over here, right?
Yes.
And I went out there for a paddle that day, or the one day, and I brought my cameras. I had everything all set up, and I did get a lot of great video and stuff, but it was like at the beginning I was looking for stuff to shoot, right? And after that, I said, screw it. I'm not going to look for it. If it's there, I'll shoot it. If not, right?
That's right.
And I ended up getting some pretty good footage after. So, yeah. How'd you guys find that route? Or that paddle?
It was quiet.
Yeah.
It was quiet. It's always different paddling in the south, right?
Yeah.
It's always different, but for the region, like it's flat. Like you're not it's actually fairly easy even to go against the current, right? There's not a whole lot of
there's hardly any flow there.
No, there's not, right? There's not at all. And there's lots of wildlife too. Like we saw tons of herons. We probably saw 100 turtles that day.
Yeah.
And, no, it's a nice day paddle. It's a nice spot to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just any excuse to kind of get outside is
right over by that the train trestle there. I seen a breeding pair of eagles.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I kind of had to do like a double take, right? So
wow.
I didn't expect to see that on
you wouldn't at all, right?
Pardon?
I said you wouldn't at all. You wouldn't expect to see them there at all.
No, first I thought they were turkey vultures, right? And then I got closer and they were bald eagles, 100%, right? So pretty cool. So somebody's asking here, and we'll get into all this techie stuff too. Why not, right? What kind of camera equipment are you guys using for your shoot, Keenan?
We use a combination of our phone. So we've got, I don't know, two iPhones that we use. We've got a new-ish GoPro 8. Is it? I think it's a GoPro 8. And then we've got a Sony 60. I want to say it's a 6300 maybe, and a couple lenses for that camera. But last year we pretty much just used the GoPro almost exclusively. This year we're trying to use we've had this Sony but it's your camera. We've had it for quite a few years. Now we're trying to use it more and more and more.
Same thing.
Just to kind of up the quality. So that's what we use right now. Mm-hmm. What about you guys? You guys have full frame, right?
Yeah, so we have Sony as well. We're using the A7 Mark II. So again, going back to when we bought, so I'm a research guy. I like to look up all this stuff before I buy. Again, I didn't know if I want to do photos or video. So when I went to Henry's or whatever, I was like, listen, like I'm in the middle. I want something I'm not going to have to upgrade for years to come. That's what we ended up getting. Yeah. And, so we use that. And then we have a G Master lens, which is pretty high quality. That's another thing that rises the tensions in the boat. And just the kit lens that it came with, and then GoPro. But at first, just like you said, we started a lot with GoPro because it's like your comfort zone. Like it takes
clips on everything. It falls in water. No
it's waterproof, but also the quality for a little cube. When you think back to our parents, like it's pretty top notch. Like, and it's our thought in the beginning was it's better to have it on video than not to have it all. So but same with you. Like we want to learn our equipment better and better quality, so we bring out the big guns a little more lately.
I noticed in a comment too, someone asked if we tether it to our boat, which not securely. There's no actual camera hooks thingy that you can really attach to your boat.
So I remember at one time watching one of Doug Linker's videos, and he had an actual mount, sort of like how your fishing mount is in front of you there, Keenan.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out what it is because it's genius. Like I'd love to have it secured to the boat instead of like I see like Joe and like John with the tripod, and I'm like, I can't do that alone. Like with her, it's fine because she can have it around her neck and like film me or whatever we're doing. But to be like solo and just have the thing sitting there, like I don't trust myself.
A big fish, knock it over, like nope.
Yeah, like I'm clumsy. Like if something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna be me, and it's gonna like everything's gonna be gone.
He's already burned our camera or melted our camera. He went ice fishing once, had the camera too close to the buddy heater, and just melted the whole face of our bajillion-dollar camera.
Yeah.
Was not impressed.
Yeah. That was expensive.
I got to post this really quick. I couldn't remember the name of the creek, and it was the Big Fork Creek.
There you go. Big Fork.
Walt B's actually the one that told me about that creek. So
awesome.
Yeah. So after we do the swag giveaway, I want to get into a little bit of couples therapy. Okay, this is all going to be in good fun because it'd be a good opportunity. We'll get to that in a minute. Right now, what do we got? 4 minutes, 8 o'clock. We'll get a couple more little things in here before that. Just wanted to ask, like, who takes care of the rope preparation, the food preparation, camp chores, dealing with portages and stuff like that? Is it really evenly distributed? Do you know what you got to do each, or do you sort of say like
are we going from the beginning? Like planning trips and everything? Or we just
okay. We'll start with route preparation. Who comes up with these canoe routes that you're doing, Teunis?
Yeah. So like Britt's down for anything. Like I could rhyme the coolest thing to her. She won't pay any attention. She's like, cool, just take me in the boat. So I'm the one that's sitting there. Like I get just as much enjoyment looking at the maps and like.
Teunis also talks a lot when he looks at maps. Oh, this is what we're doing, and he's going to show me the route, or we can do this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you do that, Teunis, are you looking at the route with Brittany in mind, or are you just saying, this is a route that's really good for both of us, or this is one that I just want to go beast mode on, or
my wife's always front of the list, so I know she likes rivers or like creeks, meandering waterways, right? Nice, close into the water and stuff.
Reaction there. I feel like she's the same.
So I always try to add a little bit of that. We both love fishing, me more so, but she loves getting a line wet just as much as me. So everything's oriented around that more or less. And like I said, we're putters. Like we grew up doing the whole racing thing, but like I would rather take the time, like especially when you drive far. Like when we do Woodland Caribou again, it's not going to be 100 clicks in 7 days. It's going to be like 10 clicks a day or whatever, right? Like enjoy, because it's far, right? You may only be there a couple of times in your life.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. She's always in my mind, but like again, she doesn't care. My wife is she is so laid back. It's not even funny. So like, I'll say whatever, and she's like, "Cool, let's just like." She may say an area she wants to go. Like I want to go to Temagami this year or Superior, whatever it is, and then I just plan it. And she's like, "Yep, sounds good to me." And then whatever, and then packing and stuff. I'm the more structured anal guy, but that's also because again, I come from a military family. But she puts in just as much effort. Again,
I'll sit beside him while he goes through his checklist a fifth time.
hey, you don't want to forget stuff. And then in terms of camp chores and stuff, I'm the firewood guy. Depending on weather and stuff, obviously, right? I'll help with the shelter and all that stuff. But she loves to get everything nice.
I like making it homey. I like making the tent, sleeping area, cooking stuff, which
is fine.
Accessible.
Yeah, you love to cook and whatever. I'll do the hard work. And like usually our trips. Well, it's okay. I'm digging a hole for myself over here. So yeah, we usually go ice out or late fall because it also kind of is with hunting season, right? A lot of like canoeing overlaps with that stuff. So that's the time of year we like to go out. And usually, what?
Nothing.
Oh, you're just touching me?
They have to answer too because it's 8 o'clock.
Oh, sorry. Okay, anyways, yeah. So
we got all night, man. We're good.
No one to bore you. Like I said, I'm a rambler, especially when I get a couple wobbly pops. So like, I don't know. Yeah, that's
it's funny through this whole what you've been talking about there through the whole thing. Hey, Keenan and Ashley are both chuckling down here, right? So,
well, look how we're dressed. We're very similar. So.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So Ashley, who basically is in charge of route preparation? 100%, or have you ever said, hey, let's try this?
It's more like he'll get an idea and he'll be like, I want to do this. And I'm usually like, I'm not sure. And then he manages to convince me. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. What I find works the best is if you start big, like start with the most extreme trip you can think of.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then if you back it down just a little bit from that, she's on board. So depending on the trip, it can take a little bit of convincing. You're a trooper. Like I'll give you that all day long. Yeah, like honestly, we've gone on some tours. So yeah, but I would say I do most of the trip planning and the route planning and all that sort of stuff. I spend like literally hundreds of hours online looking at satellite imagery and doing all that kind of stuff and printing and laminating maps and reading books and trip reports and all that stuff. So
you can probably do that for hours, eh?
Oh yeah.
He disappears for hours. Like he's in the same room as me, but he's not in the same room as me. Like he's deep into it. Yeah.
My wife always says that about me too. So say, did you hear me? Oh, wait, you said something? Sorry, I'm planning a trip here. That's cool. But actually, I noticed you've been, of late, you've posted a bunch of videos. You've been doing a lot of food dehydrating and sharing some recipes.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I like cooking, so I've been really getting into the dehydrating. We bought a dehydrator 2 years ago. Yeah. At first, we were keeping things really simple, but you start to realize the importance of food. You start to realize that when you've had a really tough day, you can't wait to eat something, and when it's something that isn't very appetizing, it's just like the worst. You need to have something tasty at the end of the day, and you need to have enough of it. So yeah, we've been using the dehydrator, and I've been coming up with some different recipes and just working away on that so that we're ready for when we can get going again.
Yeah. I'll say this much: if you like to eat good, wait until Kevin Ride comes out with his book here very soon. From Kevin Outside. Yeah, Kevin Outside Outdoors. I was mixing that up.
Kevin Outdoors.
But I followed a lot of his recipes, and I do a lot of the cooking when I do the trips with like my buddies and stuff. I seem to be the camp cook for the most part, and my guys eat good. My guys eat really good. We're talking like fajitas, and we're talking like all kinds of great stuff. The meal, like you said, Ashley, the meal's got to be appetizing at the end of the day, and it has to fill you up. Like you have to have extra for the dogs. That's the way I always look at it, right? So, yeah. Okay, we'll get into a bit more of this stuff in a bit. Right now, I want to take care of doing my swag, our swag giveaway, because you guys all have something that you'd like to contribute tonight. So, for everybody that's in the chat tonight, I'm going to be giving the regular a Canoe Hound Adventures prize pack, which is going to consist of the new sticker pack. Actually, this isn't even a new sticker pack. There's a new sticker pack that I've just finished producing. That'll be coming your way, as well as a couple of reflective. Can't see that's reflective, but that's great for the food barrel. We've got some Canoe Hound Adventures and Canoe Hound's Outdoor Adventure Show iron-on patches. They iron on to shirts and hats and backpacks, all kinds of neat stuff like that. And a couple of goodies from our friends over at Algonquin Outfitters, decals and a couple of coupons and stuff like that. So that'll be my part of the package. I believe Keenan and Ashley, you have something?
Yeah, so we are going to do the best brook trout lure on the planet. So we got this.
Here, let me put that full screen here.
But anyways, it's a EGB 330, size 3. I don't know why that's not focusing.
Put your hand behind it. Put your hand behind it.
Okay, come on.
That usually does it.
You know what? I think it's like attacking our faces or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a nice lure. Believe me, it's a nice lure. You're gonna catch fish with it.
And that's what it's gonna look like to fish that have bad eyesight. So there you go. Awesome. That's awesome. And let's see here. And then we got Teunis and Britt. They have something as well.
Just a small something. We do a little bit of leather working. So we're going to be giving away a axe molly. Don't have it on hand because we're going to be custom making it.
Wow. And I'll go on record to say that I have Brittany and Tuenis making me something custom for Canoe Hound Adventures. Had to have some of your work because I've been following that on Instagram, and you're doing some really good work there. Keep it up.
Thank you so much.
It's all right.
So tonight's question, and you know what? This is a little different. It's not a question that's going to be right or wrong. Everybody that answers this question is going to be right. And it's, who do you like to take or to trip with in the backcountry? Drop me an email at coasprize@gmail.com. You have until Saturday at 11 o'clock to get your answer in. Like I said, there's no right answer, no wrong answer. If you like to canoe by yourself, you like to bring your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, daughter, son, next door neighbor, whatever it is, just let me know who you like to paddle with or backcountry camp with. And I will pick a winner on Saturday night. At that time, I will email the winner, and I will ask you for your address, mailing address. If you're in the U.S., I also have to get your phone number because that's part of the shipping crap. I don't know. And then I'll also pass on your information to Brittany and Teunis and Keenan and Ashley. So I'll leave that question up on screen for a minute so you can get the email address. And like I say, you have until Saturday at 11 p.m. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be a little bit of fun part. But before we get into that, I'm going to put the invitation up to anybody who might want to join the chat to ask Teunis and Brittany or Ashley and Keenan a question or maybe a comment or something that you'd like to share about, paddling with your significant other. So with that being said, sorry, like I said, I'm a one-man show here. I'm trying to click all the buttons and I get lost sometimes. I got to get into the comments and here we go. Control V. There we go. So anybody that wants to join in on the chat tonight, feel free to pop up for a few minutes. Okay. So here, this is my couples therapy. We'll start with Teunis and Brittany. And I want to know, what is it about paddling with your partner that you enjoy the most? Okay. And you could tell each other this eye to eye contact.
What do we love the most?
I love that it changes all of my lures for me, so I don't have to.
Really? Okay.
I love you the most, though. Let's think.
We love the most about canoeing? Wow.
With your partner, what is it you enjoy most about backcountry camping or canoeing with your partner? Why your partner?
I would say because she's my best friend and because we're on the same page. Like, again, I like to go to the deepest, darkest places, and she's down to go. There's like no huss, no fuss. Like, I would choose her over my best friend because I know my best friend can't handle it.
James is watching.
Yeah, because he likes the outdoor once in a while, and it's like has to be kind of like a leisurely trip where like Britt, like, I could be like, okay, we're going down this creek, we're hiking up a mountain to go to this one lake to try for one species of fish, and she's like, okay. So I don't know, it's the fact that she loves to be in the moment and she loves it as much as I do, so it's just our thing.
Same goes for me. I mean, like not to brag or anything, but like we get along very well. And like we don't have a lot of conflict. He is my best friend. I could spend every day, every minute with him. I don't need a break from him. We love being together. We love being alone together. So I think that's just the best part, is we get to be us without.
If anyone's gonna have a hissy fit, it's gonna be me. It's because it's usually because I'm hungry. So like Britt's always the way you see Britt on camera is the way Britt is. Like, she's always happy, always ready to do stuff. It's always enthusiastic, and like I said, it's just
we just get to escape from the wheel.
Wow, you drunk too? What's going on here?
See, that the alcohol brings out the truth in everybody, right?
She's French too, so that's a disadvantage. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we get to escape from the real world is what I was trying to get out. So it's just nice being together. That's pretty much it.
Like, I don't know what I would do without a partner that loves the woods as much as I do. Like, again, we work 13 shifts a month. I need to be in the woods every day that we're pretty much off. We're out doing something, whether it's canoeing, bushcraft style stuff, hunting, fishing, whatever. And I just couldn't, it's just. And
the job does carry a big toll. Like, it's a heavy job. So going out together where we don't have to think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Yeah. Cool. Keenan and Ashley, you guys don't get off the hook on this. So what's the favorite thing? Why do you two enjoy canoeing with each other so much?
Ashley.
As he wanders to the washroom.
Same thing, really. Like, we love spending time together. We laugh a lot. Yes, I have meltdowns once in a while. He does too. Like, we're humans, and sometimes we're not in a good mood. Sometimes we argue, but all in all, we have a really good time together. Like, we have so much fun. We see some amazing things. Like, you have experiences that you would never have anywhere else.
I like the simplicity. It's just, there's no distractions. It's just you and your partner, whoever you're up there with, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no cell phones, there's no Instagram or YouTube or anything. It's just the two of you are there together, and the furthest apart we get is about 18 feet in our canoe, and that's it. And most of the time we're talking. If you want to be quiet, you can be quiet, but it's just, that's what I like. It just brings you back to, I think, the way things should be.
Yeah, just simple, just us and our dogs, and
that's it.
We love it like that.
Yeah.
Well, is that what's I'll ask both of you separately. I'll start with Ashley too. What's your most memorable moment that you've had out there that you've got to spend with Keenan? Something that, like, is it a sunset? Is it raging waterfalls? What?
It's hard to pick because there've just been so many. But the one that instantly comes to mind was last year in Algonquin, actually, and it's in one of our videos. It's not the best camera quality because it's the GoPro, but a black bear was swimming just ahead of us, like across the creek or whatever it was, and it had 2 cubs on its back. Like, it was just the coolest thing. And like, for a while, because we were quite far away, and we were like, what is that? Like, we could just see this big black shape. And then we were like, whoa, like, that's a bear and it's got 2 cubs. Like that's just not something you get to see very often. And I think that was the first trip in Algonquin where we actually saw bears. We'd never seen bears in Algonquin before. So yeah, that was amazing. It was cool. Yeah.
That was the most memorable moment I ever spent with you guys on a trip too. that was awesome that you shared that with everybody. That was really cool.
Yeah, we only wish we'd had we had a better camera where we could actually kind of punch in and really get it, because it was super cool.
It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Goes to attest how strong a swimmer they are that they could actually swim across a creek with 2 cubs on their backs.
Well, it was crazy, and she was not happy. Like, I think, like, maybe they're digging their claws in or biting her or something, because she was like hissing at them and everything. Yeah.
Swim yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
How about yourself, Keenan?
I think, like, I don't know if I really have a moment, but when we finished the Yukon River the first time, when we got to Dawson City, that moment of arriving into Dawson City with Ashley was just super. It felt like such a huge accomplishment. We've done it a couple times since, and I think it kind of. But that first time is just like wow. We literally went from a 2-night thing in Algonquin to 2 weeks down the Yukon and the 5 Finger Rapids. You guys have done that, right? Yeah, and it's just such a wild experience in that moment in Dawson. For people that haven't been to Dawson, it's quite a bizarre city, right?
Dawson City is such a historic town, and like you show on shore, and it's like you step back in time, and like you guys walk into the saloon way or whatever, and like you go through the swinging doors, and it's just like it's wicked. Like, it's just such a cool place.
It's a little party town too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Down to like tourist party on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Super cool though. I can remember
that moment of pulling up into town.
Yeah. We felt like we really did something. Yeah.
Did you guys have like a crazy windstorm the night before too, or was it just like?
It was actually pretty nice. Yeah, I think the weather the day before was, and it was actually food that was driving us to finish that trip so fast.
Yeah, we were just like, because we were having those freeze-dried meals, and we were like, oh, I'd love to have pizza.
Yeah, chicken wings.
Yeah, we had Chinese food. Like, we were just, every day we were just talking about all the different foods.
That's so funny. Do you have time for one? Like, we have a quick story here.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I back up 24 hours before we landed in Dawson. So we ended up in the worst storm Dawson's seen or Yukon has seen or whatever in like 10 years or something like that. So it started off like early afternoon, just piddling rain, and it's like, okay, like whatever, I'm just gonna keep paddling, wait till we find a nice campsite. By dinner time, it was a raging downpour, and it was starting to cool off because it was August, so like it was in the single digits above zero, cooling off. So it's like, okay, we gotta start worrying about exposure here. And,
but the more we paddled, the more like everything was washed out.
Yeah, so all the islands and stuff were all like straight cuts down because it's all sand, right? And the currents just wash all those landscapes away. So like you paddle up to a beautiful island, but you can't get to it because it's 15 feet high. So we're looking around. Sure enough, it's now like 8-9 o'clock. We find one spot, but there's people camping on it. We asked them if we can camp with them, and no one even acknowledged us. It was like the opposite of what normal camp etiquette is. Like they didn't even talk to us. So we didn't feel invited or safe. So okay, I guess we'll continue down the river. And at this point, we were still about 80 clicks from Dawson City. And because it's summer, you still have the midnight sun. So I was like, okay, like worst case, we'll just paddle through till we make it there. And we ended up running into a guided crew, and both guides thought we were logs coming down the river because they were like, who the hell is coming down the river in this storm?
Stupid to be on the river right now.
So Kate Weeks was her name, and she like flags us in, and it was like the experience you're supposed to get from a fellow camper, right away, like share our food, share our water, all this stuff. We ended up pitching our tent. At this point, it was still just raining, so we just find a flattest part of ground we can find, pitch up the tent, pull up our boat like 10 feet from shore, getting to know our fellow campers, and
all their equipment's flying out of like the campsite. Like you had to hold down the tarp with like all the poles they had.
So after about 10 minutes of being with them, the wind kicks up, and it was like ripping their tarps apart and all this stuff. So into the tent we go with all our food. So we have our dehydrated meals and stuff, and I remember hearing boats rustle, like you hear clanking and banging and stuff, and like we never eat in our tents, right? You always careful about where you eat and spilling food and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is the first time we're gonna have an encounter with a grizzly bear, because all you hear is like stuff like it sounds like it's shuffling through stuff.
And at this point, since it was pouring, me, Teunis, and his best friend are pretty much naked because we were just soaked. So we're all in like our underwear, shivering, eating our food, hearing all this rustling going on.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, everyone grab the bear spray. You can't fight the bear in the tent because it's just going to be close quarters and a mess. So I was like, I'll open the door. I'll go have a look to see what it is. Turns out it was just Kate and James pulling up their boats further because they were expecting the river to rise. And so the next morning it was wild. Like I remember being there in the tent that night, and the fly was just, and I was like, if these pegs and guy lines rip, like we're screwed. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do, because like it was nuts. And then we woke up the next morning, and the water did rise. Like we brought up our boat like, I don't know, 5, 6, 8 feet from the water line, and it was touching the back of our boat when we woke up.
Almost lost it.
Yeah. And then so after that crazy, I mean, like I said, like type B fun type of night, we'll never forget it. Roll into Dawson, and you're like
just
partying, having chicken wings and stuff with all these cool gold miners and stuff. We actually saw some of the cast from Gold Rush, I think it was.
Yeah,
it's just cool, right? Yeah, like it's a cool town.
Biggest reward to just be like safety, and everyone, all the locals were like, "You guys were out on the river, like biggest storm we've seen in 10 years," and it's just like.
Yeah, but like you said, like it's just
no problem.
It just feels so cool doing a historic route, right? You do the artery of the Yukon River, like one of the most important waterways up there, and it's just awesome. Everybody should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Can we venture to say that was your most memorable moment together out there?
Definitely like top 5 for sure.
Yeah. I still see our first trip as like the most memorable trip. Like I always dream of Woodland Caribou just because of, I guess it's our first trip, but just the stuff we experienced on that trip, how remote, like I felt more remote in Woodland Caribou than I did on the Yukon River. And that's just because the Yukon River is a major artery. There's barges, there's gold miners, there's helicopters flying over, right? The wilderness around the Yukon is still wild as can be, right? But the river itself, like you can be paddling on day 6 and you'll have like a motorboat fly by, right? And for me, it kind of took away from the whole solitude wilderness experience. Whereas like Woodland Caribou, I just remember like, again, it was our first trip too, but like portages aren't marked or maintained, so you're just like huffing it through the bush, going to these cool intimate waterways.
I think we ran into one person that entire trip.
Yeah, like it was a fluke too. It just happened to be that we were the same people that launched from the same lake, and that was it. So yeah I don't know.
When it comes to tripping for all of you, is it all about solitude? Do you kind of, when you see people go, I know you all say you're kind of, you enjoy people, but you prefer not to be around people.
Yes and no. It depends on how the interaction is. If they're I think I find about outdoors people, especially paddlers, is they're very similar in terms of their views and respect for nature and all that stuff. So if they happen to be kind of like a hardcore outdoors person like you, I'm happy to talk to you, run into all that stuff, right? But then like the thing about Algonquin, right, is you run into a lot of new people, right? And sometimes you see them, right? They'll be bringing their boom boxes or whatever. Like that stuff, I have no. I don't want to see, right? But like again, a fellow paddler in need. You've run into an old guy with stories. Like have at her. Like we'll share beer. I don't care. Like it's a good time.
Cool, Brittany. What was your most magical moment with Teunis out there?
Oh.
No, don't go there. But
no kids yet, no.
PG show, PG. So no, it's not something that makes you say, you know what? I'm so glad I was out here for this moment with you.
Again, it's hard to like pick. I can't think of one that comes to like.
It's like every moment, like every time we go out, it's just like I'm glad.
Actually, recently, it's funny that like Keenan and Ashley mentioned this, that like the bear with like the cubs and stuff. I was complaining our last trip, being like, man, we're out here all the time and we never get to see a bear or a moose or nothing. Like, man, we put the effort in. Like, why don't we see anything? And then that day we saw a moose cross the river. And we actually caught a little bit of footage of it. Again, crummy camera because we don't have a zoom in.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was amazing. Just seeing that moose cross the river was super cool. But I'd say that would be a top moment for me.
Oh, I guess back to the Yukon, we saw lynx on shore and it looked at us.
He was just staring at it.
Yeah, it looked at us like, what are we? It was super cool. Didn't run away, it just sat there and it was like,
yeah. And we got to see a grizzly bear too on that trip, which was
and that's another thing too. Yeah, grizzlies. Have you ever seen a grizzly's mannerisms compared to a black bear? Totally different creature.
Mm-hmm.
Like, black bears usually just take off. Grizzly bear, it's the king of his jungle, man. Like, didn't even bat an eye at us. It just sat there and it did whatever it wanted to do. It was super cool.
Yeah. Looks like nature moments or animal moments seem to be a highlight.
I just see somebody just popped into the basement here. And we will bring her up. For everybody that's in the chat there, I did put the link in there a couple of times. I'll put it in one more time if anybody wants to pop in and ask a question. Here it is. Done. Should see that any time now. There we go. Should have just popped up. Let's see here. We have Karina, Alexis Outdoors.
Hey, Karina.
Hello.
Can you see us, Karina?
You guys can hear me or see me.
Oh, I can hear you. You're a little broken up.
Little blurry.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. How's
okay.
Not good for me. I can't see you guys.
Does that not look like she's on a boat?
Hang on.
I was just going to say, is she on a boat?
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, I see a lever.
Oh, this is bad.
This is the captain speaking.
Well, we'll let Karina work out her kinks here on with her internet feed. I'll leave her up on screen. Hopefully, she'll pop back in. Yeah. So I have to ask, Keenan, Ashley, who do you guys sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Who motivates you to do this? Like, you know, is there a favorite YouTuber, you know, or an old school paddler? Is there somebody that you follow that really? Pardon?
Teunis and Brett.
Teunis and Brett.
It's funny because I'd say the same.
Yeah. You guys
inspiration. That's the word I was looking for. Who inspires you?
So yeah, like I don't know. For us, it's again like I see their footage and like their trips, amazing. Like I remember watching their Superior trip, and I love Lake Superior, and just the way they are, the people they are, they're filming. Like I'll see a shot and I'll like kind of analyze it. I'm like, that's cool. I gotta try something like that. and it like pushes me to get better, you know? Because like for me, where we are now, like I hope to be like Chris Proust and stuff in 5 years from now. Obviously, I won't be as good, but you know what I mean? Like I don't want to just make videos. I eventually want to like make art, and I just feel like this. It's not even competition. It's just like learning from others and like pushing each other. You know, like. Like they did this, I was like, okay, like I gotta, or like uploads, for instance, like you guys were very consistent for a long time. Last year we started as well. It was a kick in the butt because our dog blew out her knee. So like it was a long recovery process. We had to make sure she didn't have infection and all that stuff. So it was like
everyday physio.
Yeah. So it was 5 days of everyday care 3 times a day. So like it really put a damper on our filming, right? But then watching you guys week after week pumping stuff out and getting better and better. I was like, oh man, like I got to catch up. Not that I, like, you know, again,
motivation is.
It's not a competition, but it's like I want to be like these guys, so we gotta, you know, keep the pace or grow. You know what I mean? So it's just I don't know who inspires us. These guys first and foremost, the bigger people as well. But like, I just think again, when I see someone comment and they say that it impacts their life in a positive, especially like if they have a medical condition and they can't enjoy the outdoors, and they're like, thank you for showing me what that fish looks like close up, because I would never know. It's like, well, that makes me want to take the extra step to get out of the boat, get close to it, you know, jumble some stuff around to get that extra little bit of footage, you know? So,
Cool. How about you, Keenan? You have an inspiration?
We do a lot of reading. I can never pronounce this guy's name, but the book, The Land, the Feast of Famine.
Oh,
like I can't remember. What do you remember?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's I think it's like
Helge Ingstad.
Yeah. So I've read almost all his books like 100 times now, and any of the old exploring in the Northwest Territories and Yukon and fur trading and living off the land, I could literally just read that.
Yeah, man. That's the life.
I wish I lived that way. I wish that we lived a life kind of like that. So
Teunis always says if he was single, he'd be a bushman up in the Yukon without me.
Yeah.
Well,
I would.
I did win the lottery. There's very few compromises in that regard. That's the only thing she doesn't want to do is move away, but that's because of family. And I totally get that. Like, again, born and raised in the same house, same town, I get the whole family closeness and stuff. Whereas me, I'm kind of a free agent because like every 3-4 years, I'm moving to a different province, area of the world, whatever. So, yeah, I get it. Ontario has lots to offer, so.
I want to ask a question on Dennis.
Ooh,
can I do that?
Yeah, you can.
Pardon?
I want to ask like the reverse of what your last question was, Dennis. You said what was like one of the highlights.
Sure.
I want to know one of the moments that Keenan and Ashley like maybe like really butted heads, like an argument that kind of like trumps all arguments in the backcountry.
Who was sleeping in the doghouse?
That was one of my questions tonight. What puts the biggest strain on a relationship out there in the backcountry?
Yeah.
I think we tend to change our plans quite a bit. Like our plans service. Yeah, we tend to change our plans a lot, and that can definitely, if Ashley's not expecting to spend a few extra days, or isn't sure where we're going to camp, or doesn't know what the lake's going to be like, that can be trying for you. I find that you maybe aren't the biggest fan of that.
Yeah, I think we butt heads the most because we will disagree on little things like that. Like he usually wants to go like longer in one day.
Yeah,
I usually want to stop a bit sooner. Like I want to camp and I want to enjoy camp and like chill. Yeah. So he usually wants to go for longer, and I feel like that's quite often a thing that we butt heads with. But since you've been filming, it's slowed us down. So
it's worked out okay.
Yeah.
Or compromise.
Yeah.
I'd say it's
how about you, Teunis and Brittany?
I'd say it's similar, but it'd be more like the fishing aspect. Like when it comes to hunting and fishing, like I'm a sun up to sun down kind of guy. Like I will sit until I catch the fish. Like in my mind, it's always like this next cast, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be like a world record fish or whatever. Where she's like, after about, I don't know, she does very, very well, but after like 3 or 4 hours, it's like her limit of like, okay, we gotta switch it up.
Not because I don't like fishing, it's because my back is killing me.
Whereas me, whether my back's killing me or not, like I will sit there and I will fish until like it's dark. Like so again, that's what the compromise is, where like I want her to enjoy her side of it, right? So she's been in the boat for 3 hours. It's time to go to shore, and at least she can be up there, and I'll come back out myself or whatever, right? But I don't know. We don't really butt heads too much.
It's when we can't hear each other in the canoe.
Oh, So I get kind of sassy when I have to like try to listen to whatever Well, like when she's talking into the wind and you're trying to figure out what she's saying, it's like I can't hear you, and it's like turn around and voice whatever you're saying because this is hard.
But after 5 times of saying it, I turn around. I'm like, "Are we almost there?"
that or just stop talking. I'll just be like, whatever. Like we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's number one. Number one is definitely the talking in the canoe.
Yeah. There's no real issues, but yeah.
Yeah. So hey, Karina, how you doing? We'll get you while you're still in movement here. How you doing?
Oh my goodness, you guys sound like robots. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, where are you right now?
Bear
You on a
with me if I don't hear you. It's gonna be rough. Yeah, I'm just so this is Brandon's old houseboat, and he sold it, and he's doing some work on it. So I'm keeping him company, and I wanted to tune in, so we're doing it here.
Cool.
Good to have you, Karina.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Can hear you.
Good.
Okay.
So for those of you in the chat that are not aware, Karina and Brandon will be on the show in 2 weeks. So looking forward to that. They could have very well been on this show because they are a couple in the backcountry now too. So that's
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any
we're looking forward to it.
You have any questions for our guests tonight?
Yes, I'm curious. So when I go on trips, I do most, if not all, of the planning, and we always split up our food. So I carry basically what I eat, and depending on the meals and stuff, like I'll carry I'll carry half as many dinners, and whoever I'm with will carry the rest of the dinners, and then we'll split up like our snacks and basically carry our own food. So it basically what I'm getting at is I see all these people and I'm sorry, but I have a lot of videos to catch up on. I haven't been I'm not caught up on like all of your guys' videos, but if you guys are like food barrel folk, I just don't know how you do it. Like props, because I have to like contain my little 5-pound bag of food, and I carry that in my pack, and then whoever I'm with, they'll do the same. So what do you guys do?
So for us, we'll load one barrel right up with all the food goes in one barrel, all the dog food, everything. So we can get about 3 weeks worth of food in one barrel. And actually, if we're doing the portages, she's actually normally the one that carries the heaviest barrel. And then if we can single carry, I'll take another barrel in the canoe. But yeah, we don't separate our food. It's definitely all our food's in one barrel, or multiple barrels, I guess, if we're going for longer. Yeah. How do you guys do it?
So we are kind of a mixture of both of you. So we use Earth stacks right now. Because on average, our trips are about a week. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going, Teunis?
Good, man. How are you? So we average about a week trip, just given our schedules and stuff like that. So we use Earth stacks, and we usually bring about 2. And we're kind of like Karina, where we divide meals like breakfast, lunch, dinner in one, and then snacks and just like freeloading stuff in the other. And
usually I kind of carry the heavier pack because he'll carry the canoe and a heavy pack.
Yeah.
But we do the same thing.
Yeah.
I get the heavier pack and the canoe.
I'm fighting for the canoe.
I know, two fights for the canoe. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you also carry the odds and ends too. Like I'm carrying the boat and the pack, but you've got like the paddles and the rods and whatever else.
That's true. We're not super efficient yet with like having everything in one bag. We still kind of have like free floating stuff. So I'll have everything in my hands awkwardly.
I find camera.
Yeah,
I find the YouTube thing too has changed that as well, right? Because you got to add 30 pounds.
Gear is brutal.
Yeah, like because you want to have it out, because I know if you don't have it out, you're not going to use it. So like, it's just like got shit around. Oh, sorry, stuff around your neck. So
there goes monetization.
Sorry. So you got like you got your big camera on your neck. You got your GoPro in one hand, whatever, right? And it's just like a pain. But
fishing rods.
Well, we do have our little tether to the boat,
I
but yeah.
can't stand carrying fish.
I always got to have one out in case I want to toss it into a creek or something. So I don't know. It just, yeah.
Brittany, that's when you tell Teunis you carry it.
Yeah.
You carry it.
Well, we finally got little wires hooked onto the canoe, but at first I was always carrying them and they'd get snagged in the trees and stuff because we leave our hooks on our rods. But we kind of figured that part out, but I still hate carrying them.
You don't get like caught in the trees and stuff while you're walking.
Yeah.
Have you tried barrels then, Karina?
No.
No, you haven't tried them.
No, I haven't.
Karina,
I'm like so peasant-like when it comes to canoe tripping. I'm like, I want my little pack, and I want him to have one pack, and it all has to be consolidated, and I want nothing else.
I don't know how you do it, Karina. I give you full kudos for being able to pack the way you do, because I've seen you do some unveilings, and the stuff that you can pack into that little pack of yours for a canoe trip.
55 liters.
Yeah, I got 160 liters, and I still have to carry something else, right? And camera equipment on top. So
yeah.
So we're kind of like Keenan and Ashley too. Like I want to try a barrel just because I love food. I'm a bigger dude. Like I want to eat. So like, I just feel like having it all in this big, easy to get to thing and stuff. Like I hate the Ursack, so it's this little opening and you gotta like ruffle down to the bottom and stuff. I just want to be like boom, lid off, and then like food. Yeah.
For us, we'd have to have multiple. Like we'd have to have quite a few Ursacks with the dog food on trips, right?
Yeah.
So it just doesn't. We have an Ursack. We have used it, but we're not.
For sure.
Yeah. Just
that's another thing too. What do we do with Bubba's food? Bubba usually carries her own? Or?
No, we put it in your inside.
Oh, okay. But yeah, again, our trips are so small.
Food.
You also have a horse of a dog, though, right? Like it could be.
Yeah.
He's not that big.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So you got 2 dogs and 1 horse. Like
now.
Grizz, yeah, sorry, Grizz not so much. Like Grizz, he's like a perfect sized dog for a canoe, I think.
Yeah.
So I have to say, like I know Karina seems to, from what I've seen in the videos, that she kind of eats like a bird out there. Keenan, Ashley, what's your favorite meal out there? What's like the must have? It could be a meal, dessert, snack, whatever.
It's got to be fresh fish. For me, personally, it's fresh lake trout. Or really, but
buddy.
Yeah. Or grayling. Grayling's damn good too, but or walleye. I don't really care. It's just got to be fresh.
Fish is fish. Yep.
Fresh fish.
I could have that every day, 3 times a day, no problem.
Okay. What about if it's not fresh? What? No, I don't mean the fish. I mean your food. If dehydrated.
Honestly, that's so actually not to plug the video, but Ashley just put out a video with dehydrated pasta, and honestly, that's probably our favorite meal. We probably have that like a lot, maybe 3 or 4 nights out of 7 nights. It's just we never get sick of it. I could have that one pretty much every night. So
the way you prep that too, Ashley, I think I commented on the video saying this is going on in my menu, and I got quite the extensive menu. I wrote my own book, but yeah. How about you guys, Teunis, Brittany? Is our favorite meal?
I don't know.
Besides fish, we know fish. Everybody's gonna say
fish.
Of
course, number 1. I think mac and cheese is always kind of like our.
Well, any kind of pasta,
yeah.
Tomato based, doesn't matter. Like pasta just seems to be good in the bush no matter what, right?
After a long day, you just want something to really hearty.
Some of these like home style meals, like when you start getting into the crazy stuff, I find especially with like store bought stuff, it's horrible. Like as soon as you start getting too creative with all the stuff, it's like
we always leave 2 things for our last meal. It's chili and mac and cheese. And then that's like our this is it. This is our last night. And we combine those 2 together to make chili, mac and cheese. And that's like our reward of the trip.
But like what you guys are doing, we want to get more into dehydrating our own stuff because when we do it, it's way more enjoyable, right? Because I also find the preservatives and stuff and like the stuff you buy, like my guts can only handle it for like 5 days. And then it's like, it's either tastes like garbage or you're hurting. So like,
it's expensive too, right? It's, you buy those couches and they're, what is it, $15 per dinner?
Yeah.
Or some of them are probably more.
Mm-hmm.
You go away for a few weeks every year or months every year, that's big
Yeah. There's a lot of waste as well with those packets, right?
Yeah, you know what? Though, for those meals, I always carry one for that day where you just don't feel like cooking. You just boil water, pour it in, wait your 15 minutes, and start chowing down. Right? That's what I carry them for, is the one day. Right? You know, a pad thai or a beef stew or lasagna, whatever. Other than that, it's all dehydrated for the most part. How about you, Karina? I know, I've seen you eat some pretty good stuff out there, like a bird, but I mean, you.
As long as it's less.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dehydrate all my own stuff. So typically, I really like having like a spaghetti, some kind of pasta, just like you guys said, and a chili. And sometimes if I get lazy, or if I don't have time before a trip, I'm not like one of these like plan 5 months ahead, start dehydrating and fill the freezer with dehydrated food. I just like kind of do it before every trip, because that's how I roll. And anyways, so sometimes if I get lazy, I'll literally buy like a Tim Hortons chili, and I'll go home dehydrated, and it's ready for the next day. I'll do little things like that. It's quick and it's light, and it still tastes really good. So
the Canadian special,
a perfect portion.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is figure out how to dehydrate a honey glazed, and you'll be.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out breakfast food yet. I can't stand oatmeal.
Oh, see, that's where you're missing out.
Oh, you guys, oatmeal look delicious.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
I mean, again, I'm like a dumpster. I'll eat anything, and like food is food. So like, doesn't have to have all the sugar and stuff. You guys it's beautiful. Like it looks like a work of art with all the berries and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would change her mind.
Maybe.
But again, like I'm okay with just eating plain oatmeal. Like to me, it's just food and it's fuel. But
I don't know.
we do pancakes.
Pancakes.
Like, and to my mind as well, because it's just quick. You add some water and whatever, and it's kind of.
Is anybody with me though? Like our pancake, do you find pancakes are just so hard to cook out in the bush? They stick and they burn, and you can't flip them all over the place.
Have you not seen my cooking segments? Whole pan, it comes out like a cake. It's perfect.
Yeah.
We tend to get up, like especially on big water. We're up like if the sun's up, we're basically on the water, and so the faster we can get out there, the better. And like so for us, oatmeal is perfect because we don't actually even heat the water most of the time.
Yeah, we just pour water on.
Wow.
It's actually good.
We met these bikepackers that had done a 2-year trip from Argentina to Alaska.
Wow.
Switched to eating cold oatmeal in the morning, and they got us kind of hooked on it.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I think it's a texture thing on the oatmeal. I don't know why. I'm not a picky person, but I have trouble with oatmeal. I have to take little bites and.
You're also not a morning person. Like this whole talk of getting up with the sun, that's me. Her like fire's ready, food's ready. It's like come eat, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to share something with you guys, and Brittany, you might find this very interesting. And tonight, I think, is your last chance. I got the comment up here: dehydrated egg recipes. Mm-hmm. This is a book by Michaela Ferguson called Backcountry Cookbook, and she has produced this book, and there are some fantastic recipes in here. Give it a look. You know, I believe, and she could put it in the chat if she likes. She wants to throw the link in there, even that would be great. But I think she's got a promotion on these that ends tonight. 25% off or something. I think I've seen that on social. Forgive me if I'm mistaken there, Michaela, but yeah, by all means, check out this book. There are some great recipes as well as breakfast recipes.
Ooh,
there you go.
We're doing some shopping after the show.
There you go. So, yeah, Michaela was actually on the show a little while back with Kevin Ride from Kevin Outdoors, and they were sharing all kinds of dehydrating food recipes and their books and stuff like that. So definitely a good watch for anybody that may have missed that episode. Yeah. Did we lost Karina again?
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be there.
Yep. Yeah, she knows how to get back in if that's the case. I'm going to post one more time for everybody the link to the chat if anybody wants to join in. This will be your last opportunity before the end of the show. So it's just going to be straight up link. Delete that there, and I can post that. There we go. Yeah. So I went searching for this thing and I lost my train of thought. We were talking about food, right? Breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who's the better cook in the bush? Okay, so Brittany.
I'll eat anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually, like Keenan always does the fish, so and that's way harder than cooking, rehydrating food. So I
don't sell yourself short.
Thank you.
Ashley does all the cooking at home.
That's the part.
I would say in the bush, I probably do a little bit more of the cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is either just boiling water or frying fish. So it's not like it's difficult, but yeah, I would probably use the stove or build the fire more often. So that would be that's kind of my domain, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
The pit master.
The pit master. Do you guys do any of you bring in that steak dinner for the first night?
On short trips, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Short trip.
So, well, even just the first couple of nights, like bring potatoes and stuff to put the chili on and all that stuff. Like, it's that's usually night 1, 2, maybe 3, and then it starts to get to the solely dehydrated stuff. Yeah.
You guys are good. Yeah, we're unless it's basically just a weekend trip, we're pretty much just
dehydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went on a trip once with my brother in Woodland Caribou, and we basically just brought couscous with us for the whole couscous and oatmeal.
For fish?
yeah, for fish, yeah.
They were very confident going in.
Yeah, we wanted walleye, and I'll tell you, we had not much luck with walleye. We caught a pike.
It's funny because we were the same way. We only caught lake trout in Woodland Caribou.
Yeah, we caught
Harlan swore by walleye, and we only caught lake trout. So I was like, man, I mean, I love lake trout, but it's like, like you said, you're hoping to catch walleye, and nope.
Yeah, we caught I don't know if it's quite 50 inches, but it'd be right around 50-inch pike there.
Yeah.
When we came on the trip, and we were disappointed with the fishing. We probably averaged, I bet you our average pike was probably somewhere between 12 to 15 pounds.
Okay.
Some of these spots were unbelievable. Like we came out of there disappointed because we didn't catch walleye. And now looking back, I just go,
yeah,
really. Yeah, that was some of the best fishing I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah,
because that's the thing, right? Like fishing, like to find these fish aren't pressured. Like again, to have a bite nonstop like that is incredible.
Oh yeah,
around, like where we are, like. Again, last year we struggled with getting fish footage because a lot of it was crown land. And even though we're in a remote area on the northern side of the park, there's still roads going to every lake. So people are getting boats in their high pressure, you know what I mean? So it's hard to fish these lakes until you and you get into the interior of the park and you work to get to where you want to go, right? So I would, having that kind of fishing is amazing.
Cool. Got somebody in the green room here. I want to invite up here on panel, and I see Karina just popped back in too. So I'll be with you in a minute there, Karina. This is Michaela from Voyager Tripper, and she is the mastermind behind this book. Hope you don't mind me plugging your book, Michaela.
Oh no, totally okay. It's what gave me the kick to actually come into the live to ask my question.
Okay, cool.
I'd love to ask you two couples a question, which is, for the people who do lots of canoe tripping but haven't necessarily gotten too into YouTube yet or making videos, like there's this trade-off between you want to cover a lot of distance, have a really cool route, but you also have to take time to like film, set up the shots. Where do you find like the trade-off for that is? Like how much does filming actually slow you guys down?
A lot.
So info on that.
So especially being new, right? Because you're learning everything. You're learning how to use a camera. You're learning how to compose stuff. You're again learning how to talk in front of it. Like
we could take 100 takes of like one sentence sometimes, and it just doesn't make sense in our head, even if it is okay. So I don't know. Maybe we are like really critiquing with it.
Really, you guys reshoot scenes?
Well, like just like talking, right? So you get the sentence or whatever you wanted to come out correctly.
Yeah. We're not the greatest.
I wouldn't say we're kind of like the one take wonder. It's either going to go in the film or I'm going to cut it out. We're not taking it. It's one and done.
So usually, like, Britt's hilarious. Like, I love editing her photos just because her video, because the spontaneous Brit is what makes it hilarious, because that's just who she is, right? But yeah, we'll still take like 3 or 4 takes just to make sure we have something, right? Because I don't want to get to the computer and be like, oh, we're missing an outro or whatever, and we have to, like.
I also have like a super small speech impediment, so sometimes I'll slip in a lisp or something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta retake that. Like I can't show this.
Don't even worry about it, Brittany. This guy is always tripping over his tongue. Always.
It happens so often, especially when I feel the pressure of the camera, even if it is just me and the camera. I don't know. It's just it's different, and it does take time.
Sorry, Michaela, what was your question again? I just want to make sure I don't ramble off into the.
I guess basically just like a combination of getting faster at making the videos, so that you're not having so much of your day consumed by actually the film part of it. Kind of where the trade-off is between like wanting to get these great shots, but also wanting to like do a route that's challenging and fun and isn't all consumed by making the videos.
You honestly just have to do it and find if it's for you, like if you enjoy the process. Because like, again, going back to the beginning when we first started filming like 4 years ago, I felt pressured and didn't like the whole like idea of it slowing me down, and I felt like it took me away from my adventure. Like, again, a lot of this time is vacation, you're out here for yourself and whatever else, and I just felt like it was taking away from that. But
change of mindset.
Yeah,
we enjoy filming as much as we enjoy tripping now.
Yeah, so you gotta.
It's fun together. We don't mind taking the extra time.
Yeah, you gotta put in the effort to learn the stuff, whatever, and it just, I guess, gets better.
Do you find like Alexis, you've been doing this for quite a while. Do you find that? Sorry, Alexis, I first. Do you find that when you started it, you maybe didn't enjoy the filming as much, and now you're much more into it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now it's like, so a lot of people are like, do you ever do trips that you don't film? And I'm like, now filming is so much a part of it for me. It's so much part of the enjoyment. And even when I like hate my life during a trip, sometimes I'm like, I really don't feel like filming right now.
Yeah.
I never regret just filming it and being able to watch back like all my trips from the past and kind of learn, and you forget a lot of things. It's amazing the things that you forget about your trips, and when you rewatch the video, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that time, I remember that. Like,
sure.
So yeah, it's totally part of it, but it was so hard at first. Yeah.
And do you find as well, like I've been finding that sometimes if I'm in a bit of a funk on a trip, that when you get the camera out, it almost forces you to like, okay, buddy, like get it together. Let's like
absolutely
up the morale a bit here, right?
Yeah. No, totally. You have to be like animated, and or even if you're not, though, if you're not, it adds to the video too, because you're just like in a terrible state and you almost have to talk it out with yourself through the camera. So yeah, it does help, but it also adds to the video as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And solo too. Solo's a lot of work, isn't it? Like
filming on your own.
Oh man,
what ticks me off is people are like, "Oh, you're solo, so who's filming?" It's like, have you never heard of a tripod? It's so hard to film on a tripod. Can you please just appreciate that I set up this shot, walked away, ran back to get it? Oh, that's so frustrating. But yeah,
it's a lot of hard work being a one-man show, right, Karina?
Yeah. It really is.
One-person show. Here's a cool question from our good friend Kevin. He's asking our couples there, who's the most camera shy of the four of you?
Neither. Like, this camera shy, neither of us. Like,
well,
we can film whatever.
Like being in front of the camera?
Yeah. Well, I guess she feels like she has the hardest time in front of
He pointed at Ashley over there.
Yeah, I think Ashley.
I guess Britt feels like she has the hardest time in front of the camera, but I feel like she is the best in front of the camera. Like her spontaneous funny bits and little quirks and stuff, it makes it funny.
Yeah. I guess you have to almost be cut out for it. If you're a YouTuber and you want to be a YouTuber, you have to do it. You do it, right? You get out there and you film it.
It feels so bizarre holding a camera and talking into the camera. Like just I don't. There's something so weird about that. Like I'm not guy that if I see somebody taking a selfie, I'm like, oh my god, selfie, right? It boggles my. I'm like, how do people do that? And then here I am now with this bloody camera stuff in my face all the time, right? It's different. It's just so you're staring at this stupid hole on the screen.
I feel like anyone that likes the backcountry doesn't necessarily like technology that much. Like we're not big on technology yet. Here we are taking videos. Like I understand your thought process on that one. Like, I don't like being on my phone scrolling through Facebook. I hate it.
So like
yet here I am posting things on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, because like before YouTube or social media in general, like we were very private people. Like we care less about what we exposed to and stuff, right? And then all of a sudden it's like you have to put yourself out there to, I don't know, to get it out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a quick question. Teunis, Brittany, who did the Tim Hortons run?
That was
my sister-in-law.
Yeah, so my sister.
I'm thinking to myself, geez, what's going on here?
My sister's in school for she lives
I hope she'll be here soon with mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. We're getting close to the end of the show here. We're at 8:58. Michaela, I just want to ask if you want to let everybody know where they can get a copy of this. Why not? Here's your opportunity.
I put a link in the chat. I can drop another one. I only have digital copies left. The print ones went too quickly. Sorry, I did not mean to like hijack this part.
No. I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't want it. So.
But yeah, I can put a link in the comments.
Yeah, please
or
do.
You can just go to my just search Voyager Tripper, and I think I'm the first thing that pops up if you Google it. So
you gotta spell Voyager properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good. Cool. And let's see, Karina, we will be having you and Brandon on the show in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. We can talk about Alexis Outdoors and, of course, Timbermates.
Yeah, Timbermates. He said we'll be on the channel. In 2 weeks.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks there.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm just going to drop Michaela and Karina and Brandon into the basement. If you want to stick around for the green room, please do. And we're just going to close up the show here for the night, because I do have one final question for our two couples on panel tonight. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Stick around. All righty. So in closing, guys and gals, I want to know, and this is only because we've been talking about food here at the end and the whole couple aspect. Have you ever done like a candlelight dinner out there? Or what's the best thing that you shared out there? What's the word I'm looking for? Have you celebrated anything big while on a canoe trip that's made it so special? Oh, look at there are 4 puzzled looks on the screen.
Tunas are like the least.
I can speak on their behalf. They had your like Thanksgiving beautiful ham, whatever. Last year.
We had ham too, though.
There you go. You had your
that's what I was gonna say. Actually, we just the whole thing. Everything's been so weird right now, right? So we did
last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, last Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did Thanksgiving out in Algonquin last year, which was that was a pretty cool, different. And I mean, you miss your family and you want to be around them, but maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to do right then. So I would say that it was.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And who brings lamb into I've never seen
Yeah.
I've seen all kinds of things cooked out in the backcountry.
I guess. I've never seen that one yet. So I thought that was kind of tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Nothing special yet. Well,
not celebrating
in August, it's going to be our 2-year wedding anniversary, and we have a trip planned for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully with COVID and stuff, we actually make it to that trip, because we do have plans to do something for our anniversary.
Yeah.
So
in terms of celebrating stuff, not really, but cooking. I mean, all the wild game we harvest from hunting, like deer, bear, grouse, we've done all that kind of stuff. But I guess on camera, just deer and grouse. But
no candlelight suppers though.
Yeah, no, it's Yeah.
Just by the fire. That's what we have.
Well, you know what? Here's your opportunity. Go out there, bring some candles and a little couple of those little Nalgene plastic wine glasses.
Oh, we do lots of the campfire wine drinking, lots of that kind of stuff going on. Yeah, we just don't have candles. That's all we're missing. So
hey, a bonfire is one big candle, right? Well, you know what, guys and gals, thank you very much for spending your Tuesday night with us. This is a great night. Hopefully people picked up a few tips or, got to learn a little bit more about your YouTube channels, which if anybody is looking, description down below, you'll find links to their Instagram pages and their YouTube channels. Be sure to check them out, hit their subscribe button, and follow their adventures because I truly enjoy them. And that's part of the reason why you're on the show tonight. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy them as well. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you spending your Tuesday night with us.
Hey,
thanks for having us.
Thank you for
having us. And thanks for all the people, too, in the comments.
There were some great questions tonight. And thanks to everybody in the chat over there. There were some great questions. Thank you very much to all my regular supporters. Now become their supporters as well, right? So that's good stuff.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks very much.
One final toast for the night. Here's that, y'all. And hopefully we could all dip a paddle in the water one day soon together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
For sure.
16th, let's hope.
I'm going to drop you all into the basement here for a bit. And I'm going to close up the show and we'll see you in the green room.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys. Awesome. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's show. I just want to go over a couple things here before we do button up. Wow, tonight we're like right on time, and that's a good thing. Next week, don't forget, we have a special show on the meanest link with special guests Chris and Julia Prouse, our good friend Kevin Callan, and he's going to be discussing. Hopefully, we can talk a bit about his Once Around Algonquin book. And, of course, one of the co-founders of the Meanest Link being Gord Baker, who is a member of Algonquin Outfitters. So that should be a good show. Following week, we have Karina and Brandon from Alexis Outdoors, and Timbermates will be on the show. And, and a couple others coming up. It's going to be good times coming up. Don't forget, we're done for season 2 at the end of this month of June. And then we'll we'll rehash everything back in September. So hope everybody can join us. Don't forget tonight's question was, and if you want into the draw for tonight there, send your email to coasprize@gmail.com. And the question was, just tell me who you like to backcountry trip with. Significant other, brother, sister, mom, dad, grandma, your kids, whatever it is. Just like to know who you like to trip with. No wrong answers. So get that in there. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do hit the thumbs up button. It really, really helps us in the YouTube analytics. And if you haven't already done so, you're new to the show, please hit the subscribe button and we'll see you every Tuesday night. In the meantime, my name is Dennis, CANOEHOUND Adventures. And remember, people, keep the adventures alive. See you next week.